When you decided to invite me, pumunta agad ako doon sa library ko at kinuha ko itong napaka-interesanting libro. No? I think mababasa to nung makikita ng mga viewers natin. How Democracy Was Lost. It's written by Augusto Cesar Espiritu, essentially a diary of the 1971 Constitutional Convention. And doon sa opening pa lang talaga nung diary niya, itong member ng CONCO na to, makikita mo na yung problema talaga is yung chacha or yung term extension. No? So, yung takot talaga nung mga miyembro ng Constitutional Convention, even noong 1971, binubuksan lamang yung ating saligang batas para yung nasa taas, yung presidente, magkaroon ng oportunidad para ma-extend yung termino niya. So, ganyan din ni President Ramos. No? The shift to a parliamentary form of government essentially lifts the term limit for the president. And they will do it during the first half of the president's term habang malakas pa siya. Dahil pagkatapos ng midterm elections, usually yung mga senador na nagbabalak tumakbo for vice president or the presidency, lumalabas na yung mga sungay nila. Alam nila na transition period na. So, in terms of timing, in terms of content, in terms of maybe motivation, it's always been about term limits. No? Kaya kung sasabihin ng mga tao, wait, parang conspiracy theory yan, no? Parang hindi mo naman talaga alam yung motivation ng mga nagpo-push ng charter change. Well, if you look back at history, malinaw na paulit-ulit na yun talaga lagi yung binabagsakan. And number two, given the nature of our history also of our Constitution, every time na susubukang buksan yung ating saligang batas, you have to think of the worst possible motivation. Diba? You have to think of the worst possible motivation. And ang tanong lagi, what's in it for the ones pushing it? So for the members of the House na pinupush, can they really honestly say na ito yung advocacy nila na ibenta yung bayan sa mga foreigners? Parang wala naman yatang maniniwala na ito yung kanilang plan or scheme for economic development for the nation. So, anyone who's looking at the situation, pwede nilang sabihin talaga na baka naman meron pa talagang ibang motivation for pushing this kind of a proposal.
Oo. Actually, a part of me wants to entertain. Siguro parang mental exercise. No? Baka naman siguro, in a way, benefit of the doubt. Hindi ba pwede i-consider na iba itong pinupush nila? Yun lang naman, siguro devil's advocate for the devils. Quote-unquote. Okay. Kasi ito lang example, no? So, historically pala talagang laging it's all about term limits. Kumbaga parang excuse lang yan to open the Constitution. Pero ngayon kasi sinasabi nila, very specific yung nakalagay sa resolution namin. And diba sinasabi nila, they don't even have to convene as a constituent assembly. Pwede siyang ipasa separately, yung tinatawag na Father Joaquin Bernas model. What do you think of that?
Yeah, in theory, pwede naman talaga na honest to goodness na proposal yan. But you have to realize, the moment the machine starts moving, kahit ano pwede na mangyari. So, kunyari, balik tayo dun sa nangyari noong 1971. No? Akala ng mga nagsusulat ng Constitution noong 1971, kayang ma-avoid yung question ng extension ng term limits nung presidente at the time. And then suddenly, nagkaroon ng declaration of martial law. When martial law was declared, lahat ng pwedeng ipasok nung presidente, na ipasok niya na. No? Ganyan din, I think, yung potential na pwedeng mangyari dyan sa proposal to separately convene. No? Pwedeng may mangyari sa House, pwedeng may mangyari sa Senate, but in the end, kailangan lang mag-convene together for a final proposal. So, yun, hindi mo na makokontrol yun. The moment they sit down together kung ano yung final proposal, parang yung bicameral conference committee for passing a regular legislation, no? Merong pwedeng ipasok And that happens all the time. No? And na-question na yan several times sa Korte Suprema, and yung Korte Suprema, lagi niyang sinasabi na, well, pwede naman mag-insert, pwedeng magbawas pagdating sa Bicameral Conference Committee. And so, ang malamang na mangyayari dyan, they can talk about itong mga innocuous proposals to amend the Constitution, yung education, advertising, public utility. Pero pagdating dun sa tunay na usapan dun sa bicameral conference na for the purpose of proposing amendments to the Constitution, pwede nang magbago yan. And kapag pumasok na yung proposal to extend the term of anyone, the president, vice president, or kung sino man, mahirap nang mahinto yan. And that's always the danger. Dahil, again, we need to go back to yung basic structure of our Constitution. Yung ating Constitution is fixed. Ibig sabihin, by design, dapat siya mahirap talagang mabago or ma-alter. That's why yung amendment or revision process is designed to be equally difficult. No? Kailangan mo nga ng supermajority na 3/4 and then dapat sila magkahiwalay na nagtatrabaho dahil it's a bicameral, hiwalay na boboto dahil it's a bicameral system. So that was really meant to make it as difficult as possible for those in power to amend the Constitution. Pangalawa, and I'd like to emphasize this, the best time to amend the Constitution is really during some kind of a special moment. No? So in constitutional law, ito yung tinatawag namin na constitutional moment. No? Parang yung mga nagliligawan, parang kailangan tayo magkaroon ng moment para maisip natin yung talagang gusto nating baguhin sa ating Constitution. The prime example of this would be the 1986 People Power, diba? Noong 1986, nagkaroon tayo ng revolution, and one of the acts of the revolutionary government was precisely to repudiate the 1973 Constitution. And that was a constitutional moment for the Philippines because under a revolutionary system, makakatutok talaga yung mga tao doon sa gusto nilang bagong sistema ng pamamahala, bagong sistema ng gobyerno. So, kung ganun yung sistema, you're under what we call a constitutional moment, no? A situation where yung mga tao, nakafocus yung attention nila doon sa nangyayari doon sa sitwasyon. Wala kang question about motives. Kasi kaya ka nga nagkaroon ng revolution, nagkaroon ka ng EDSA revolution, ay dahil gusto mong baguhin yung sistema. But, otherwise peaceful yung ating sitwasyon. And yung proposal hindi manggagaling doon sa mga mamamayan, nanggagaling doon sa mga may kapangyarihan. Natural, dapat yung mga tao tumaas yung kilay nila and sabihin na, well, hindi ba pwede na you just try to govern properly? Hindi ba pwede na ibaba na natin yung level ng corruption? Hindi ba pwede na galingan na lang muna natin yung pamamalakad ng bayan? Hindi ba pwede na bawasan nyo muna yung gastos nyo? Maybe yun yung talagang magpapaunlad sa ating bayan. Di ba? And that's the right attitude. No?
Natatawa ako rin sa mga hinihingi mo, Attorney Hilbay, no? Kasi yung sasagot sa'yo ng trapo, hindi. Palitan ng konstitusyon.
Yeah, and kung yung sagot, ang retort ko is, lalo kung hindi papayag sa Chacha.
Okay.
Diba? Dahil kung yung mga reasonabling hinihingi ko, hindi nyo maibigay sa akin, which is good governance, honesty and transparency in government, prudence in the way the money of the people is spent, and smaller government, something that's more reasonable para naman yung inflation bumaba, para hindi tayo masyadong umuutang. Kung yung mga nasa kapangyarihan nyo ngayon, hindi nyo ibibigay sa mga mamamayan. Lalo kung isasara yung pintuan dyan sa Chacha na yan.
Kung nagustuhan nyo po itong video na ito, paki-like at share na lang po para mas marami pang makakita at makapanood. Kung gusto nyo po makibalita, follow nyo na rin po ako sa aking mga social media accounts na nakasulat po sa screen. Pwede rin po kayo magpadala ng super thanks, super like, super chat at super sticker sa YouTube, saka Facebook stars po. Alam niyo po, malayo po mararating ito para makagawa pa po kami ng mas maraming video na makatutulong po sa pagpapakalat ng tamang impormasyon para sa bawat Pilipino. Kada like, subscribe, follow at share ay pagsuporta po sa tunay na independent journalism sa bansa. Maraming salamat po.